like, if somebody come up and say, David Allan Coe, listen, my favorite song is Jody Like a Melody, I'll talk to that motherfucker all night long. What I don't like is the people that come up, they said you're somebody, who are you? What do you sing? What do you do?
Yeah.
David Allan Coe. The name alone has always stirred controversy in the world of country music. An outlaw legend, a rebellious spirit, and a man whose life has been as dramatic as the songs he's written, Coe has never been one to follow the rules. For decades, fans have been fascinated by his career, torn between admiration for his musical genius and shock at the chaos of his personal life. And now, just moments ago, David Allan Coe has made headlines once again. The news is sending shockwaves through the country music community and beyond. This isn't about a new album or a nostalgic tour. It's something that no one could have predicted. Whether you've followed him for years or only know him by reputation, this latest revelation is impossible to ignore. Coe has always been unpredictable. From his early days living a rough life on the streets, to his prison time, to his rise as a cornerstone of outlaw country, he's defied expectations at every turn. He's been praised, criticized, and even vilified. But one thing has remained constant. David Allan Coe refuses to be silenced. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on the headlines that are shaking the music world. We'll explore the man behind the legend, the controversies that have defined him, and the shocking truth that's just emerged. This is a story of fame, rebellion, and the raw, untamed life of David Allan Coe, the outlaw who still refuses to play by anyone else's rules. David Allan Coe is a name that has always sparked debate. To some, he is a genius of country music, a raw storyteller whose lyrics cut straight to the heart of human emotion. To others, he is a provocateur, a man whose life and career are mired in controversy. But to understand the headlines breaking today, one must first look back at the life that forged the legend. Born in Akron, Ohio in 1939, Coe's early years were far from ordinary. He experienced instability and abandonment, living through a childhood marked by hardship and uncertainty. By his teenage years, Coe had already begun to stray from conventional paths. School could not contain him, family life offered no comfort, and he sought freedom in ways that were often dangerous and unpredictable. These experiences laid the foundation for the man who would later become one of country music's most notorious outlaws. In the 1970s, Coe emerged as a key figure in the outlaw country movement, alongside heavyweights like Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson. But while others in the genre maintained a measure of control over their careers, Coe's path was chaotic, uncompromising, and unapologetically raw. His music reflected the life he lived, gritty, fearless, and often controversial. Coe didn't just sing songs. He told stories of rebellion, hardship, and the struggles of life on society's fringes. Hits like You Never Even Called Me By My Name and Long-Haired Redneck showcased his unique blend of humor, defiance, and unflinching honesty. Fans loved his unfiltered storytelling, which spoke to those who had lived outside the mainstream, while critics often condemned the same lyrics as offensive or shocking. But Coe never cared about critics. His loyalty was to his art and his audience, who saw him as the voice of authenticity in a music industry that often sanitized its stars. Coe's personal life mirrored his musical persona. He spent time in prison, lived a transient lifestyle, and gained a reputation for unpredictability and rebellion. These experiences didn't just influence his songs, they became part of the legend. He lived the outlaw lifestyle he sang about, blurring the line between performance and reality. While some of his choices were controversial and even shocking, they cemented his status as a man unwilling to conform, a true embodiment of the outlaw spirit. Even as his career climbed, Coe remained a polarizing figure. His charm, intelligence, and songwriting talent won him admirers, yet his lifestyle and outspoken nature created enemies. This duality, revered by fans, vilified by critics, has defined his entire career. He was a man who refused to be tamed, whose art and life were inseparable, and whose story has always been larger than music alone. Now, decades later, Coe finds himself in the headlines again. The world is reminded that this is not a man whose story has ended. His past, his persona, and his music continue to capture attention, proving that the legend of David Allan Coe remains as compelling and unpredictable as ever. Whether loved or loathed, Coe is impossible to ignore, a testament to a life lived boldly, without apology and on his own terms. Just moments ago, David Allan Coe has once again captured the attention of fans, critics, and the entire country music community. The headlines are everywhere. But what makes this news so striking is that it goes beyond the usual stories about his controversial lyrics or rebellious persona. This revelation exposes a side of Coe that few have seen, a side that is raw, personal, and utterly unforgettable. Coe has never been a man to shy away from the spotlight. But even by his standards, these latest developments are extraordinary. From prison stints to feuds with fellow musicians, his life has been a constant source of intrigue. But now, decades into his career, Coe has made headlines that have stunned both longtime fans and casual observers alike. Sources close to him suggest that this story may redefine how people see the man behind the music. The world has long been fascinated with Coe, not just for his talent, but for the aura of unpredictability that surrounds him. Known as the outlaw of country music, he has built a career on living outside the rules. And that includes the way he handles the media. His songs have told stories of heartbreak, rebellion, and life on the margins, but the man himself has lived many of these tales. And now, that life is spilling into the headlines in ways that few expected. This latest revelation highlights Coe's ability to surprise even those who think they know him. It touches on aspects of his personal life, business dealings, and relationships that have long been shrouded in secrecy. Fans are learning things that were previously hidden behind the curtain of celebrity mystique. Details that paint a fuller, more complex picture of a man who has spent his entire life defying convention. What makes this moment particularly shocking is the timing. Even at this stage of his career, Coe demonstrates that he is still capable of creating ripples in the public consciousness. It's a reminder that the outlaw spirit is not just a phase of his youth, but a lifelong commitment to living on his own terms. The headlines are a testament to his continued relevance, proving that the legacy of David Allan Coe is far from finished. For fans and critics alike, these developments raise important questions. How much of Coe's life has been shaped by his choices, and how much by the circumstances he could not control? What does this mean for his music, his image, and his enduring influence on country music? As the story unfolds, one thing is clear: David Allan Coe remains a figure who cannot be ignored, a man whose life is as compelling as the songs he sings. The headlines today are not just a fleeting moment of fame or scandal. They are the continuation of a life story that has always been larger than life itself, a story of talent, rebellion, and a relentless refusal to conform. David Allan Coe is once again at the center of the public eye, and the world watches, wondering what the next chapter will reveal about the outlaw who refuses to be tamed. Whenever David Allan Coe makes the news, the ripples are felt far beyond the music industry. This time is no different. The recent headline-breaking revelations about Coe have sparked a wave of reactions, from die-hard fans who defend his legacy to critics who question the man behind the music. But what truly sets this moment apart is the emotional impact it has on those who have followed his career for decades. Coe's fans have always admired his unapologetic authenticity. They respect that he has lived a life without compromise, embracing the outlaw identity in every sense. Yet the latest revelations are forcing many to reassess what they thought they knew about him. For some, it is a reminder of his humanity, a man who, despite fame and talent, is flawed, vulnerable, and deeply complex. Others see it as proof that the controversies surrounding him are inseparable from the music he creates, giving his songs an edge that could never be replicated by a conventional artist. The music industry itself is paying attention. Coe's name has long been associated with the outlaw movement, a style that challenged Nashville's polished norms and brought a raw, emotional honesty to country music. The recent news highlights how enduring his influence has been, not just on fans, but on generations of musicians who see him as a fearless trailblazer. For younger artists navigating the pressures of fame and creative compromise, Coe serves as a living example of someone who refuses to be molded by the expectations of others. Yet, the fallout isn't only about admiration. The headlines have sparked debate over the ethical and personal implications of Coe's actions and choices. Critics question whether fame has shielded him from accountability, while others argue that his music, shaped by a tumultuous life, should be viewed as separate from his personal controversies. This tension between legend and human frailty is precisely what keeps Coe in the public consciousness, decades after he first rose to prominence. Social media, as always, has amplified the reactions. Fans have flooded platforms with messages of support, reflection, and in some cases, shock. Longtime followers are revisiting his discography with new eyes, searching for clues about the man behind the songs. Every lyric, every anecdote from his career now carries added weight as people attempt to reconcile the headlines with the David Allan Coe they thought they knew. Ultimately, this chapter of Coe's life demonstrates why he remains such a compelling figure. His influence is not limited to his music alone. It extends into the cultural and emotional fabric of his audience. He challenges us to consider the messy, complicated lives of those we admire, and to confront the uncomfortable truth that even legends are human. As the world digests the latest revelations, one thing is clear: David Allan Coe's story is far from over. His ability to provoke, inspire, and captivate is as strong today as it was when he first emerged as the outlaw icon of country music. And while some will judge and others will celebrate, the truth is that Coe's life and legacy continue to command attention because no one lives or creates like David Allan Coe. David Allan Coe has spent decades living life on his own terms, and the latest headlines prove that even now, he refuses to be defined by anyone else's rules. For a man whose career has always been intertwined with controversy, this moment is not just another news story. It is a testament to a life lived boldly, authentically, and without compromise. Coe's legacy is complicated, but it is undeniably significant. He helped redefine country music, bringing the raw honesty of the outlaw movement to the mainstream. His songs, often provocative and unfiltered, challenged listeners to confront uncomfortable truths about society, love, and human behavior. For countless fans, Coe was not merely a musician. He was a symbol of freedom, rebellion, and fearless self-expression. The recent headlines have cast a new light on that legacy. They remind the world that the man behind the music is just as complex, and sometimes as controversial, as his songs suggest. Every choice he has made, both celebrated and criticized, has contributed to the mythos of David Allan Coe. And while some may see scandal, others see the courage it takes to live openly, without apology, in a world that often demands conformity. Reflection is inevitable. Coe's career spans decades, yet the recent news forces both fans and critics to look back at the entirety of his life. It is a reminder that the lines between art and artist are often blurred. The stories he has told through music are inseparable from the experiences he has lived. Every heartbreak, every rebellion, every triumph echoes in his songs, giving them authenticity that cannot be manufactured. For younger generations discovering Coe for the first time, this moment is also a lesson in the enduring power of individuality. In an era of carefully curated public images and polished personas, Coe stands apart, a living example of what it means to remain true to oneself, no matter the consequences. His impact extends beyond music, inspiring anyone who feels pressure to conform, and proving that legacy is built not only on talent, but on courage and conviction. As the headlines circulate, one thing is clear: David Allan Coe remains a figure who commands attention, debate, and respect. He is a man who has lived a life few could endure, who has faced both adoration and condemnation, and who continues to challenge the way we view fame, artistry, and authenticity. The story of David Allan Coe is far from over. The headlines may shock, the critics may question, but the truth remains. He is an outlaw, an icon, and a storyteller whose life has always been as compelling as his music. And as the world watches the latest chapter unfold, it becomes evident that David Allan Coe will continue to captivate, provoke, and inspire for years to come. David Allan Coe's story is not just about music, controversy, or headline-making moments. It is about the enduring influence of a man who refused to live according to anyone else's rules, and the lessons his life offers to those who admire authenticity above all else. Even decades after his rise to fame, Coe continues to challenge perceptions, forcing fans and critics alike to confront the reality that greatness is rarely neat, simple, or comfortable. For aspiring musicians, Coe's career is a study in both talent and perseverance. He demonstrated that authenticity in art cannot be manufactured. It must come from lived experience. His lyrics, raw and often confrontational, captured the emotions and struggles of people who rarely saw their lives reflected in mainstream music. Every song, every performance, is a piece of a larger narrative, one built on a lifetime of struggle, rebellion, and unfiltered honesty. Coe's life also serves as a cautionary tale. His controversies, legal battles, and personal struggles remind us that fame and talent do not shield one from the consequences of choices. Yet even in these darker moments, there is a form of resilience. Coe repeatedly returned to the spotlight, reinventing himself while staying true to his outlaw identity. In a world where many compromise their values for acceptance, his refusal to conform is a lesson in courage and self-respect. Fans of country music continue to find inspiration in Coe's work. For some, his songs evoke nostalgia, a return to the era of the outlaw movement, when music was bold, emotional, and fearless. For others, they offer a blueprint for embracing individuality in a society that often rewards conformity. Coe's influence can be traced across generations of musicians who cite him as a fearless innovator, someone unafraid to challenge the norms of an industry that prizes safety over authenticity. The headlines that brought him back into the public eye today are a reminder that David Allan Coe remains a figure who cannot be ignored. They provoke discussion, spark debate, and reignite curiosity about the life of the man behind the music. Yet beyond the scandal or intrigue lies the core of his legacy, a life lived with conviction, passion, and relentless honesty. Ultimately, the story of David Allan Coe is a story of complexity, a reminder that human beings, like the music they create, are layered, flawed, and extraordinary all at once. His life teaches us that influence is not measured solely by fame or wealth, but by the courage to live authentically, to speak one's truth, and to leave a lasting mark on the world. As fans and critics reflect on his latest headlines, it becomes clear that David Allan Coe's impact is not temporary. His music, his life, and his defiance of convention have created a legacy that will endure for decades. And in the end, that may be his greatest accomplishment, proving that a true outlaw is remembered not just for controversy, but for the uncompromising truth of who he is.